Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
The Print Off the Cuff, presented by IIFL Wealth and Asset Management, powered by K. Raheja Corp, corporate partner AU Small Finance Bank, in association with global insurance brokers, airline partner SpiceJet.
Harshji, if you would permit me, because Ram Charan ji is the guru, let me start with him first.
Sure, of course. He gets
Ram
the first
Charan ji,
priority, of course.
You look at businesses all over the world. You look at many businesses in India. You are on the board of many companies. You've written books. What is it that you find so unique about what Harsh Mariwala did that you co-authored this book with him, and the reason you commend him and his enterprise?
I think, knowing Harsh for 30 years, three things stand out, and they are lessons for everybody. You start in a family situation and you resolve issues of family situations. Indian families are different from the families I work with in Brazil and China and Japan. Number two is resilience, tenacity to build something. But there's a third one that should be actually number one. I'm allowed to see many CEOs, many entrepreneurs, but nobody is better than Harsh's persistence and ability to observe the consumer. Here, the family business was more to business, a commodity business. And Harsh goes outside the box, personally goes in the car, drives it into areas no family member has been before, observes the consumer, sees their pain points, goes to the retailers, see the difficulties, work backwards. What must be done for the consumer?
So, Harshji, is it harsh realities or is it harsh realities?
Yeah, I just got the first copy of the book today.
Yeah.
So it's harsh realities. It's harsh a fun on my name, yeah.
Not your name, yes. So why harsh realities?
So I was in search for a good title, and I think this is something which I liked because there are real life situations which are very different. And I've had lots of failures, which have been more than adequately covered in the book, and more important than failure, the learnings from the failures. So the real situation of an entrepreneur is very different. You know, everybody thinks that you come with a big vision and then, you set it up, but it's not like that. The vision evolves as you succeed in business, and then the environment goes on changing. So you go on changing your business as the environment goes on changing. Who had predicted that COVID will come in and all the new opportunities out of COVID which will come in? Nobody in the world could have predicted. So I'm saying this vision is a little bit overdone. I'm not saying that entrepreneurs should not have vision, but the vision changes with the changes in environment, new opportunities open up. So to have a vision cast in stone is not sound. And I think entrepreneurs make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, okay to fail. A child falls down many times before the child learns walking, And I think similarly, entrepreneurs should take risks. It's okay to fail. But because if there is a fear of failure amongst entrepreneurs, then they will not succeed. And most of my successes come out of learnings from my failures.
So you are a management guru. You are a global thinker that people come to for advice. During the pandemic, what is the advice or what is the question you've been asked most often?
Yeah, there were three. One, attention to people first, employees first. You have to provide assistance, do it. Take care of it. No ifs and no buts. Such an attention to people has not been over the last 50, 60, 70 years. They get it. Communicating, taking care, helping families. I am on a board of company and so on. First thing, you take care of the families, assist them. Number two, from business side, is liquidity, that you can't have cash. If you don't have cash, you can't go anywhere. It's very important. I have a company in Japan where the suppliers are suffering very badly. So you provide cash to them. So they survive, continue to do that. And in doing that, you watch the business side of it. And third was that, which I've gone through, that many companies had not connected with the consumers digitally. So I got calls and I connected to them through various vendors and put them in 9 weeks connecting with the consumers so that you can at least go online. Many of them were not online. And without being not being online is a very difficult thing to survive.
Harshi, please describe the book to us. First of all, what made you write this? Describe the book, and then I'll ask you more questions about your journey.
So actually, the book is a memoir of my business journey. And as you mentioned earlier, I was very fortunate to have Professor Ram Charan as my co-author. I just approached him saying that, can you help me in this? I'm struggling a little bit. And he readily agreed. And we had multiple sessions. And I think he's been able to add a lot of value because he has written something like 30 books, which have sold more than 4 million copies.
Yes.
And basically, it's an account of my own journey, my own successes, my failures, peppered with nuggets of wisdom from Professor Ram Charan, because he is the one who has given insights after each chapter in terms of what are the key learnings. The book is in a very easily readable story format. And the theory part comes in only at the end of that chapter and in nuggets of wisdom through him, And the book talks about building a consumer brand business, talent management, creating a culture of innovation, importance of governance, even including topics like how to improve board effectivity, purpose of an organization, corporate social responsibility. So it's meant for entrepreneurs who want to scale up, who want to go from small to medium to large scale. It's meant for professionals who are working in organizations, and also meant for students. So I strongly believe that each one of them will have some take-home value because the book covers a lot and it's very easy reading. And I've given it to some of my friends, their spouses, and they also enjoyed reading, saying that, okay, we also didn't think it was a business book. So it's the fact that it is in story format makes it very interesting reading. And actually, it goes beyond a cut and dry narrative.
So since you call it harsh realities, not harsh realities, there must be many harsh realities you faced.
Yes.
If you can list your 3 favorite harsh realities, the 3 example rule we always follow.
So I would say first is managing the family. As Professor Ram Charan was saying, it's very complex because you have multiple relationships. And in those days, I'm talking of my father and my uncles. You were staying together. It was a joint family, common kitchen. So you are actually all together. And then you are also working together in the business. You are also have a similar share in the business. So you are partner at one level. You are again interacting in the management side. And at home, you are again, you're staying together. And those boundaries are very difficult to draw. It's very difficult to tell your father, your uncles, if you disagree with them. You have to do it in the right manner. You can't be abrasive. You have to do it softly. You have to coax them. So it's very difficult many a times to operate in a family environment with multiple role relations. So, and then by then, 4 of my cousins had joined business. So like 9 Mariwalas in one company was like impossible to attract talent. So how do you overcome all that was my biggest challenge. And I was able to convince my family. It took me 3 years to say that, can I take this business from the earlier company, Bombay Oil Industries, into a new company, Marico, in 1990. It took me 3 years, but looking back, that 3 years spent are fully worth it, because if that had not happened, I would have been managing the family dynamics and got caught into the family networks and complexities, which would not have enabled me to consider on this business. And it was not a financial separation, Shekhar. It was just a management separation. The financial shares of all the 4 families were same as they were in the earlier company. But still, there is a lot of fears. What will we do if you take away this part? First 3 years, I spent a lot of time in culture building, which is described. It's one of the big chapters in the book. And the third is the fight we had with Levers. Levers had acquired Tomco, Tata Oil Mill Companies, and they had inherited a brand of coconut oil through that acquisition. And they went, they went public saying that we will take over Parachute and Marico. The whole objective was to create a fear within me, By then we had gone public, so the impact it had on our share prices was dramatic. Our share prices just fell, and they basically wanted to put pressure on me to sell out. And I decided to take them on. I was absolutely adamant that I'm not going to sell it to them, because to me, I know this business inside out. For them, it will be one amongst the 30 brands. To me, this was my main brand, and I was going to handle it at my level. At their end, it would be handled by somebody lower down the hierarchy. And we decided to take them on. We gave a guidance to the public markets that there may be an impact on our profitability for 1 or 2 years until we take them on, but we will not sell it out to them.
That's how your big brand was built and has
yes,
grown
and
grown.
actually, then look, over a period of time, they lost interest in this category, and we bought their brand in
Please
coconut
give
oil.
us the name of the brand yourself instead of me giving.
So our brand was Parachute, and the one we bought from them was Nihar. It was an open auction, bidded. Everybody was there, whether it's Dabur or Godrej or Imami or Wipro. But we were very aggressive in our bidding. We were
Because
keen.
was there a bit of a revenge in this that you thought?
Not really. No, I don't.
Buying you out?
No, in business, you can't go by such revenge emotions. You have to be rational. But key rational was that, if we know this business, we can improve our cost structure. And if this brand comes to us, we will be able to take it up to a different level, which it has. At that time, we are miles ahead of other players in terms of what we quoted.
Ram Charan, family. Is Indian family a strength or a weakness for Indian enterprise?
See, generalization is not going to be really, really fruitful, because it depends on the family, it depends on the founder, it depends on the parents. It can be very, very good. It can be also, as you have seen, the public cases in India with very, very bad consequences. So I think it very much depends here. Now, if the parents are allowing the children to be more independent, which is happening now. I have families now in India that I work with, and here the son says, "I don't want to be CEO." And so we coach him and say, "You can be a chairman of the board, and it will add more value than being a CEO, because you will learn the board, you will select the right CEOs, you will have time to go around the world to see the new technologies, new changes, things of that kind. And you will be selecting people." So there's much more freedom coming in, where now this generation is allowing the children to get what they really want to do. I want to mention one thing about Harsh, that he's modest. He didn't tell you that. And that is, when he started this business, and he mentioned to you those dirty environments and nothing clear, he recruited best talent. He didn't have an office to bring them to his office. He met with them, interviewed in the hotels. He brought the right people, a very high caliber, from large companies. Entrepreneurs say, "We can't do that." That's not so.
Harshi, question for you from somebody from FMCG industry.
Yes.
That is Kamlesh Sharma from Coca-Cola, who says, for an FMCG company sector that is hard work, brick and mortar, very physical and very intense, would there be a proportion or percentage of how much the enterprise must spend on scaling a successful product versus investing on R&D and creating a new and acceptable product?
So I don't think, Shekhar, it's either or. You need R&D to create new products, and the starting point is the consumer. And what are the unsatisfied needs which you can deliver through the right product to the consumer is the starting point. So if you are saying that I see a certain need where I can provide a product which satisfies that need, I should, and if it is getting a certain critical mass which will satisfy my aspiration as well as profitability, it's a brand and it's not a commodity, then I have to work with R&D and if it is within my domain knowledge, like we are saying that we will be only in beauty and wellness. So if you give me an opportunity in, say, fabric care or some household product, I may not pursue it because we want to be in beauty and wellness. So, and we will, most of our work with consumer will be in that area. So R&D is a means to an end. You have to go on doing work on your own, not necessarily consumer backward, as well as any opportunities you see coming from consumer. And the work on your own would be based on what's happening internationally in newer technologies, based on, I mean, whether it's a natural trend or whatever trend which are emerging. So I think you can't say that it's either or. You need both. So you need very high level of R&D. And many times you may not need to do R&D on your own. You can buy R&D also from outside, from other countries or other companies. And I think you have to go on investing in the brand. So it's to again reiterate, it's both. You can't, it's not either or.
Shardul Diwan, who's a CA student, who says, I've heard many economists and businessmen say that India can never emulate China in terms of ease of doing business, job creation, manufacturing output, and exports. What's your take on this, Harshji?
I think we have a long way to go. China is more, shall I say, driven not democratically, but in terms of political way, things can move much faster. Depends on the leadership. It can be done in the right way, wrong way, but whatever you say, I think they've been able to do a much faster job in terms of their execution, ease of doing business. We are trying. We have a long way to go. But let's not measure the progress from a short-term window. We have to look at it from a much larger term window. And there are huge benefits of being in democratic environment. So let's not forget that. Let's not just say that, okay, last 10 years, China is doing better, but let's look at it from 50 years, 100 years in terms of the benefits to the society being a part of democracy. This is how I see it, but it will be a little longer. Our bet will be taking longer, definitely, compared to China.
Do you think in the modern context, newer startup founders and VCs have lost that desire to go out in the field to get real life experience? Or is it more heightened now?
No, I think that still remains. Any entrepreneur has to be in touch with the final consumer and actually able to go deep into consumer's mind and some of the latent needs which the consumers themselves don't realize that they have certain latent needs. So I think that inciting and asking the right question to the consumer is critical for any business leader. If they think that they can do it through spreadsheets and sitting in the office, then they're mistaken. Consumer linkage, consumer interactions, consumer inciting is the role of a CEO. Or unless the CEO does it, people down the line will also not take it seriously.
You see, when I do select CEOs across the globe, I spend 5 to 6 hours. A good deal of that is knowing what they know about the consumer. It takes 20 minutes to know that. Because if you as a CEO don't know about the consumer, in a consumer company, it's a non-starter. What's your habit, how you know that? So I wrote a book with the chief executive of Procter & Gamble, A.G. Leffley, Game Changer. Every weekend, he went to see the consumer. The vice president of Unilever and in P&G required to spend 1 week a year living with the family. It's in my book, how to do that. Because remember, a corner store, you see in India, we call Kirana merchant. I was in a shoe shop. I knew the size of the feet of the customers by name. Kirana merchant knows the consumer, remembers it, no computers. Today, sitting in the office doesn't make money.
The Print off the Cuff, presented by IIFL Wealth and Asset Management, powered by K. Rahija Corp, corporate partner AU Small Finance Bank, in association with global insurance brokers, airline partner SpiceJet.